All right, how's it? Hey, everybody. It is 5 p.m. West Coast time. I'm going to call it 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on that there East Coast, and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. I am Matt Statter. This is Chatter with Statter. And we've already got some folks coming in saying howdy and aloha. We've got Pacola T saying greetings to the Statter crew. Shock saying aloha to Pacola T and sharing up the schedule, etc. Rick in the house, and it's great to be back home again. And I hear welcome back, as Shock says, to Rick eMusic. So good to see you. It sounds like, though, Rick and probably Darlene are only going to be here for one little stream, and then this weekend they're going on a wonderful sandy, beautiful, watery vacation with the family. I'm so flippin' jealous, but that's okay. We'll survive. We'll survive without them. All right, you guys. So I'm not sure if, and speak of the devil, Darlene. Here comes Darlene saying aloha to everyone. Awesome. Exactly how we like to see it. The usuals coming in. So, speaking of usuals, if you notice things look different, hey, Sass Squash, good to see you coming in. Good to know that YouTube is coming in, because it looks like it's mostly stream side that's showing face right now. And allergies, Statter, no, I don't think I have allergies. Oh, good, you're listening at work, Sass, perfect. And it looks like we've got Terry coming in, raiding in with a party of 9. Super stoked. Mama Sean coming in on the YouTube side from Arizona in the hot and sticky Southwest. That's unusual, but coming in on that there Raiders, I'm going to guess that we've got DJ Smook, Katie's Aura, Terry, of course, Gina Gamba, Panel Writes Things. These are people coming in from Terry's Sea of Thieves Twitch stream, which unfortunately I did not get to see today. I really wanted to, but I had other things to do, and they were being done in the name of the yeah, that's what we're doing. In the name of Sea of Thieves. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Sea of Thieves. Yep, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so Sea of Thieves is a video game about pirates, and you just like steal stuff and go shipping on your ship. No, you go sailing on your ship. I kind of know what I'm talking about. Clearly not that much, though. Anyway, I've fallen in love with this game, and I'm not a video gamer at all, but I want to play this video game. And so I have been on at this point, I think, month-long quest to try and play this stupid video game. And it's really not stupid. Anyway. I'll tell you more about it, but you know what? Let's just get the party started. Okay, so thanks to Terry and Katie's Aura, it's their fault. Not really. It's because of them, though, that I have become in love with this silly game, Sea of Thieves. It's difficult to say, and I'm sure it's even more difficult to play, and Lord knows it's very difficult for me and my computer to install. I first installed it, and then my video graphics card didn't work for it, and so then I found, well, no, let me rephrase that. So then, between Shock and Terry, we did lots of research, and by we, I pretty much mean them, did lots of research, and we figured out, okay, this one video card might work in my computer. And so I installed the video card, and then we realized we didn't have the right cords. So then we realized that even though we had some of the cords, we needed an adapter. And so the adapter is happening today later. I got it for $5. I was pretty stoked. I already had the cord. Anyway, in trying to install the video card and get everything working, I had to literally take my computer apart, which literally means unplugging everything and like taking the case off, right? And in that kerfuffle, my camera got cocky-wumpus, my monitor knocked it. There was chaos. And I didn't think about that part of the chaos. I just thought, oh, my computer has been put together properly and all of the plugs are plugged in. I'm fine, right? And so then I turn on my camera, and like my camera's all crooked, and it's got the back of my monitor in front of it, and I realize, oh, but unfortunately, this was right before the stream started, so there's been some before we got started today. And keep the mice and rats away from those cords. You better believe it. Speaking of which, what did my Ashes kitten do the other night? Well, she brought in a beautiful, beautiful kitten of her own. Only it wasn't a kitten. It was a very full-grown rat. But she held it so delicately in her mouth that when she put it down, it, of course, scurried behind my bookcase. So now I may or may not have a rat living in my house with me again. And if it goes after my dishwasher again, I'm just gonna burn my house down and move to Hawaii or something. I don't know. She may have to burn the house down. My words exactly. It was shock. It was incredibly delicate to ask Statter if she had plugged the monitor into the new card. Yeah, the whole thing was a delicate, stressful thing, but I am proud of myself. I did pretty much figure out how to do it on my own. There were some hurdles that happened that I definitely needed guidance on, like, no, you're right. You need to figure out a way to remove that piece of metal. And, it's like, yeah, you're right. Like, that's where you're supposed to stick it in. But I just didn't know. I needed somebody to hold my hand. I, in theory, could have figured it out myself, but I can tell you right now, I wouldn't have figured it out myself if I didn't have Shock in the background saying, no, this is what you're doing. This is how you do it. This is you can do it. No, really, you can do it. No, really, just do it. Do it. Here, did you see that? Go do it. Stick it there. And not verbatim, but pretty much our conversation. No, dude, you can do it. No, dude, you can do it. But I'm afraid to do it. Yeah, but you can do it. But I'm afraid. Yeah, but you can still do it. But I'm afraid. And, Terry, are we going to try to get you into the Sea of Thieves after my stream? Honestly, Terry, I can't answer that question because after I did some updates last night, I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's hope so. That will be the attempt. But I had, like, literally, Terry, last night, at the beginning, because after, anyway, Terry and I were on talking online last night, and I think it was like 7 o'clock my time, maybe like 7 p.m. my time, when I had to start re-downloading the game. And in doing so, it literally was like 7 hours of downloading and updating and verifying and whatever. I mean, so I left the house. I was like, there's nothing I can do at this point. And still, it wasn't done until after 2 a.m. And so I don't know, man. Like, I guess we're just going to have to see if the tech is with us. I really don't know. I'm starting to be paranoid that this just isn't going to work. But if it doesn't work, I'm not too freaked out about it because I literally have spent $25 on parts. So it's not like a big investment. And I did learn some stuff. And Mama Sean, at least I attempted it. You would have called your son. Darlene, you wouldn't be able to do it either. I totally feel you. Like, less than a year ago, I think, probably like a year ago, I would have been exactly in your boat. But I already, prior to this installation, I upgraded my RAM. And in order to upgrade your RAM, you have to, it's literally just sticking these cards, a card with some pins into a slot where the pins go. It's really quite easy. The most difficult part of that is taking the computer apart. Well, once I figured out how to take the computer apart, then suddenly I was a lot more confident. And I had a feeling that it really was just a case of sticking the pins in the slots. And I was right. And so, but had I not already upgraded my RAM, I'm not nearly as intimidated as I used to be. And so you get to start small, I guess. But if you don't have to, I don't really recommend it. But I will say I am proud, and yes, my computer has drawn blood. Once my computer has drawn blood, I am qualified. I apparently am qualified. And so, Pinnell, lately you've been learning how inept you are at many things. Well, you know, no one can do everything. And, I had a recent feeling like that as well, and I'm gonna suggest to you this. It's not that you're inept at things, it's that the things that you're trying to do are not as simple as everyone insists they are. For instance, I tried to replace my headlight light bulb in my Subaru, and I couldn't. It just wasn't, and I can't tell you how many flippin' videos, and they were all basically telling me to do the same thing, which was what I was sort of doing it. But I wasn't. It was not. And so finally I was like, and I felt so stupid I couldn't even change a light bulb. I mean, how inept are you if you can't change a light bulb, right? Right. At least that's how I felt. So then I went and was like, I'm going to have to ask a boy who's stronger than me and knows what he's doing. So I did ask a boy for me and ask him to do it. And he couldn't do it. In order for him to do it, he had to break the bulb, use a tool, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, that was the most difficult light bulb to ever change in my life. And so may I suggest to you, Pinnell, that it is not that you are inept. It's that the things you're trying to do are sneakily more difficult than the average same thing it is to do it. And no, I thought it was a matter of grip strength, but no, actually it was a case of, it was like one of the prongs was corroded in. And so he literally had to twist and break that prong off and then extract the prong with a special tool. It wasn't coming out. Like it wasn't just grip strength, but that was what I thought. And so exactly though, and as Shock is pointing out, it's super, super important to remember this, even though it's easy to forget and feel otherwise. Inexperience is not the same as inept. And Rick, exactly. Remember, some engineer designed it that way. Totally. And Terry, I am so glad to hear that your blood levels are now no longer pre-diabetic. I was very concerned the other night morning for you, when you mentioned that. And I do apologize, Terry, for babbling on and on and on while you were trying to get ready to go to the doctor. Seriously, guys, I think I made him late to his doctor appointment. I just couldn't stop talking, and he's just like, I told you a half an hour ago, I have to go to the doctor. And he didn't say it like that at all. He was very nice, but the reality was, he had told me 30 minutes prior that he had to go to the doctor. So yeah. And hey, is Puzzycat in the house? I did not see him pop in. But if Puzzy's here, hey Puzzy, good to see you. And Terry, the practice nurse attributed it to you losing a lot of weight. Now she's telling me not to lose anymore. Well, that's kind of a... Terry, I have never heard a doctor say that to me, so awesome for you. So now, Terry, you don't have to feel bad about going to your Tesco and getting a pack of Tim Tams, so you can have a Tim Tam slam with your coffee and or tea. Because, you know, if you're not having to worry about your diabetes and they say don't lose any more weight, a packet of Tim Tams covers both of those options. Hey, Verity, good to see you. Yes, not so late today. Aloha, everybody. All right, you guys, so... it sounds like we, oh good, Tim Tams, here you come. And you know what, Terry, I think that the regular ones are the best, but it sounds like Bainy Bo prefers the caramel ones. So I think you might have to, if you have the option, buy both of those packages, and then you can have a taste test and tell which one of us is right. Tell us which one is right. Or you can say that we're both wrong and Tim Tams are flippin' gross, and why did you tell me to eat those things? Because, ew. I don't think you're gonna say that, though. I don't think so. All right, so you guys, as you may know from when well, if you've hung out here for a little while, you may know that one of my favorite television series is Reservation Dogs. I happen to have Reservation Dogs on my computer, and I'm hoping to stream it at some point with you guys. So I've got, but before we do that, there's a couple different things that I want to work out with you guys. First off, is the most important test. I need to find out whether or not the streams will even work. And so I was hoping today I could show you just a couple minute excerpt. Hopefully YouTube won't mind. I mean, we'll see. By the way, you guys, the last stream that I did with the running race from the Olympics, the 12-second clip that I was hoping no one would notice, they noticed. They noticed, and I got blocked worldwide again. So I clipped it out of the stream, and now everybody can see the video. But yeah, they noticed. And so they'll probably notice, and I'll have to probably edit this out. But I wanted to play with you. Yep, no, I didn't want to play with you guys, honestly. Sorry, I wanted to play for you this 3 or 4 minute clip, which is to me one of the funniest episodes that we have. But before I do that, I want to say, Pacola T, Kitty Girl is sleeping on your foot. It is good to be home, and I'm pretty sure that means you're stuck there forever until she wakes up. And so I hope you're comfortable. I hope you have a glass of pamplemousse or something. And yeah, I hope that you're ready to sit there for the long haul, because she ain't moving. She is not moving. Yep, she is happy. As Mama Sean said, she is happy you are home. And yeah, have somebody grab you a musubi and sit in for the long run, because that's what you've got to do. Exactly. All right, so I'm going to play this little video for you guys. Hopefully, you'll have the audio and the video, but I can't test this without actually streaming it. And so, exactly, Pacola T, you are immobilized on the couch until Kitty wakes up. That is the best place to be. A little bit jealous I am. All right, so, I want you guys to tell me whether or not the audio and the video are coming through, because I can't. Some videos sometimes have weird protections that, like, I can see them running through my OBS, but the moment I start streaming, it doesn't show what I can see. And so I'm curious if you guys can actually see this particular video. And if I get copyright struck, I'll obviously deal with that. And Gina, by the way, good to see you. Puzzy Cat, are you mocking me? Because actually, I didn't tell you about the fact that there might actually be 2 rats living in my house. We're not, and I don't mean that euphemistically. I actually mean that Dusty brought one in too. But it wasn't as big as the one that Ashes brought in, but that's beside the point. I don't want to talk about my rats. I do, however, want to share this little video with you because it's funny.
Kenny boy, we got company. That tribal cop.
Damn. Looking for the 2-dick sculpture maker, I suppose.
2-dick what?
Sculpture.
Maker.
Should I be worried?
You might turn the LSD ayahuasca label and face it the other way. That's a pretty good start. You guys suck.
You know, the second time I did DMT, I shot high above this neon city.
That's great. Give your gums a rest there, Joe Rogan. Here he is. Oh, Yate Shikis. Don't speak Klingon. Ah, good one. It's Navajo.
Oh, shit. Thought you was clearing your throat. Reverse.
Humor. I love it. Our people have always used laughter as a way to get through the hard times. Ain't that right, Shikis?
Fuck, quit speaking Navajo, Kenny boy. Shit.
Wow. Just like the priests at the boarding school. You gotta wash my mouth out with soap as well.
Oh, Jesus. Look, Cleo reported a shipment of catfish stolen. I'm just wondering if you all heard anything.
Sadly, no. But might have a number for you. Someone who deals in the aquatic underbeings.
Fly.
Good. Look it up. Oh, don't mind if I do. Oh, yeah. That's organic. Yeah.
I think I need to leave.
What?
Yeah,
What? Hey.
All right, so hold up here. Okay, so it sounds like it was a little bit too soft. I'll see what I can do to to adjust that. But it also sounds like stuff is coming through. So now that we know I can stream it, and by the way, in case you guys didn't quite pick up what happened in that scene, they were dosing the soda with LSD and ayahuasca. And then the cop comes in and downs one of them their sodas. It's organic. And then one of the dudes is like, you know, I'm gonna go now. And so that particular episode is one of my favorite episodes ever. It's an episode that does have the deer lady in it, and the deer lady is an important figure in that particular TV series, and within apparently the some cultures within some Native American cultures in certain parts of the country. I don't think the Deer Lady myth is a universal, but it sounds like in Oklahoma area, the tribes there have that as part of their stories. And let's see here. Oh, good, Gina, you're still tired, but you did some stuff and less anxious, always good. And you did some stuff in Sims 4, and you did your laundry. That is awesome. And Darlene, you would like to see how the tribal cop handled that, and let me tell you, you do get to see how the tribal cop handles it. And yes, exactly, Verity Hunt, surprise! Don't worry, Kenny Boy, the guy with the necklace, who was the, the sort of the main character in that, he also doses himself, and he goes in to help guide the cop through his trip, and yeah. And Mama Sean, talk about mint. I didn't really know that rodents were averse to mint. I use mint oil to, we have these little ants. They're called odoriferous ants, because if you squish them, they stink. And they're little, like, some people call them moisture ants, some people call them sugar ants, just the tiny little ants. But whenever occasionally, at least like once a year, my house gets, they come in. And so I generally try to find where they're coming in, and I just douse it with mint oil, and they can't cross it anymore. And then I find where they're hanging out, usually my compost or recycle bin, and I put mint oil all around that so they can't access it. And they piss ants, I guess. Yeah, there you go. I've never heard that term about a specific ant. I've just heard that term as a term, but exactly, they're that. And anyway, so I've always done that with my ants, and then I had a spearmint mint oil based wasp killer that I really liked, but I did not realize that rodents were also mint averse. So this is beautiful to know. Hey, Jessica Falls, good to see you here. All right, so I don't know if you've been lurking or whatever. If you just came in, then you just missed a little snippet of a television series called Reservation Dogs. So now that we know we can watch Reservation Dogs, my question for you guys is, how do you want to watch Reservation Dogs? I was thinking, but then I realized this might be a bad idea. I was thinking of, for the next couple weeks, on Thursdays, when Andy Bumatai used to have his Daily Pigeon Live at 3 p.m. Hawaii time, 6 p.m. West Coast time, I was thinking of showing Reservation Dogs in that time slot. And since Andy usually lasted about an hour and a half, a little more than an hour, I was thinking of showing 3 episodes per stream. So it would be 22 minutes times 3, so it'd be, an hour and 20 minutes or so of a total stream time. I was thinking of doing that every Thursday. And then after Andy gets back, we can figure out when would be good. But then I thought, well, maybe people only want to watch 1 episode at a time as opposed to bulking it up. And so I'm just wondering, what are your thoughts if anybody is thinking that they would like to join the Hamajang Gang, watching this particular series, what would be, kind of Verity, because, people get into, Verity saying, that's perfect, I'm holding his spot. In a way, that's sort of the intention, because I know that when it comes to myself, I cannot speak for the rest of the community. But when it comes to myself, you get into a routine of, it's like a television show. Oh, on Thursdays, it's MASH, and on Wednesdays, it's The Facts of Life, and on Sundays, it's The Simpsons. And I realize these are random TV shows, but you get used to it. And so, I'm not going to obviously take over the spot. As soon as he comes back, it's his. But I figure within the community, it might give people something to do for that time slot that they've already mentally cued in for relaxation, mindless time. This is my entertainment time. This is not my work time. This is not my making dinner time. Or maybe it is my making dinner time and I need something to listen to or whatever. I just keeping the routine. Keeping the routine is really the most succinct way of saying that, and it just occurred to me that's how I should say that. So it sounds like then Thursdays at 6 p.m. is maybe something we're amicable towards. Now, okay, so that one decision's been sort of made. Now the next question is, do we just want to watch 1 episode, which is about 25 minutes per Thursday? Or do we want to do an hour and a half into with the 3 episodes? And then maybe start the first week with 2 episodes and maybe add a 3rd episode if it goes well the next week. See, and this is why I'm bringing this to the people. Okay, so instead of a half hour or an hour and a half, we also, of course, have the option. Okay, cool, 2 at a time. Okay, cool, see, awesome. I really wasn't, I was so caught on Statterbox at the cinema timing and Daily Pigeon Live timing that it never crossed my mind. It was either a 1 or a 3. It never crossed my mind 2 might be the answer. So, okay, we've got 2 votes for 2 at a time. So I'm liking that. And then, obviously there's elbow room if we want to watch a 3rd. Or if we decide adding a 3rd is doable, we could do that the 2nd week. Okay, cool. Well then, let's pencil this in. Oh yeah, tomorrow's a Thursday. Okay, cool. So, all right, hold on. Let me look at my calendar one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. So we've got 4 weeks of 4 Thursdays until September starts. And so tomorrow on 8/8, we'll watch 2 episodes. And then on the next week, we'll watch 2. Then maybe we'll watch 3. And then 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. Don't know what you mean by that, but that's okay. I don't know if that's a code for something, Gina. You've got me perplexed. But exactly, Verity, elbow room is what we'll have. And so, okay, cool. Jessica Falls currently on a 3 stream streak. Excellent, Jessica. Super stoked. And also, hey, this little attach. I just got a notification about Jessica. 1, then 2, then 3, then 5. Yeah, I suppose. But no, I want to do 2 at the first, so I could do 2 and then 2 and then 3 and then 5 maybe or something. I don't know. And you know what? We don't know. We'll figure it out because we might realize that 2 is enough per stream. Or we might be like, encore, I want to know next. Don't stop now. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. But tomorrow, August 8th at 6 p.m., Terry in Scotland, honestly, I considered that a marathon from start to finish. Oh, it was a play on something Terry said. Got it. Okay, so hey, Bainy Bo, good to see you. All right, so Darlene, and everybody who is not necessarily following my train of thought. Tomorrow, we're going to start watching Reservation Dogs. However, oh, Bainy Bo, you were in Terry's raid. I didn't see you. I'm so sorry I didn't say aloha when you came in. So, okay, tomorrow we're going to, because we're streaming something we shouldn't be streaming, we're going to be using the same rules as Statterbox at the cinema, which is, this is a Twitch-only broadcast. Okay, this isn't. This is a YouTube broadcast. But what we'll be doing tomorrow will be a Twitch-only broadcast. So, YouTube folks, I'm really sorry. Try to make it over to Twitch. I just know that YouTube is, well, we'll find out when this stream is over if YouTube caught what I caught, I guess. And so maybe we'll be able to expand it later if we want to take the risk. But tomorrow, how about we just do Twitch? And we'll be doing season 1 of Reservation Dogs, episodes 1 and 2. And then after we watch episodes 1 and 2, we'll probably have a recap, decide if we liked it or not, and we'll plan again for the Thursday after that. But episodes 1 and 2 are going to be on the docket for tomorrow. And also, for those of you who aren't able to hang out with the crew and watch these things, but still want to watch them, they are actually available on Hulu. And so you could watch them at any time. Granted, it wouldn't be with us, but you can, if you are truly interested, you can watch them without just, being part of a pirated stream, so to speak. All right, excellent. So we do have a plan of action. I meant to ask you about this last stream, but totally spaced. And so I'm glad to know that this stream, I didn't space. Okay, cool. So let's see here. What else is it that we were going to talk about today? Honestly, yeah. I don't really have a lot to talk about today at all. So, friendly houseflies. What? I missed something. Let's see here. Terry in Scotland. 3 at a time. Do I hear 4 at a time? Yeah. No. No, but I will say I have actually, because I did think of showing them 3 at a time, I did watch them with that in mind. And they do well in a 3 chunk segment, but 2 at a time, that'll work too. In fact, actually 2 at a time works better for the first season anyway, because there's only 8 episodes and 8's not divided by 3. What it boils down to. And Verity, you don't have to sign up for Twitch. You can watch with us without an account. However, you won't be able to chat with us, which is gonna be kind of a bummer. Or not. Depends on how much you want to participate in the chat. But you do participate here, so it might be a bit of a bummer. But, like I said, maybe we'll eventually end up on YouTube as well. We're going to... I know, right? Exactly. It's no fun if you can't chat. I totally agree with you, Verity. I totally agree. And then Rick suggests I could play them at 1.5 speed, and then we can watch 3 real quick, like... I'm not going to do that for a couple reasons. First off, especially because if you guys don't know what the characters really sound like, and then you get used to their voice and their speaking patterns at the 1.5, when you eventually hear them at their real speed, you'll just be like, are these guys drunk or on Quaaludes or what? And I know this because when I do the post-production for this stream for YouTube, and I do the timeline of when certain topics start, you know, I have to rewatch this stream. But I don't want to spend an hour and a half rewatching the life I literally just lived. So I put it on double speed. And so I hear myself talking. My laugh at double speed drives me nuts, but that's beside the point. Then when I have to like stop it and have to listen to myself at normal speed, I sound like I'm drunk. And I know that I wasn't, but once you get used to hearing it, so and then you're is what it sounds like at normal speed. And yeah. And let's see, Terry in Scotland, you're actually worried about houseflies. Where did the buggers go? I live near a dairy farm, so I occasionally get visits from blue bottles. They sound like bummers. Oh, so are you... Wait, hold on. You're worried about them? Like, as in you want... Wait, Terry, I'm confused by your statement. Are you suggesting that you're used to having a lot of horseflies because you live near a dairy farm? But now there are no horseflies, and so you're worried about where they went? Is that what I'm reading you saying? Because actually, that's a really valid worry. Because, like, if you live near a dairy farm and there's no flies, what happened to the flies? Right? I mean, like, what flies and dairy farms are like cookies and milk. That's really not that's not a good analogy. But you know what I'm saying, man. They're like peanut butter and jelly. You can't have one without the other. And, oh, Mama Sean, though, does bring up a good point. Maybe because your weather has been really cold. That is really true there, Terry. Let's see here. So, all right, not horseflies, houseflies, like the song, Where Did All the Where Did All the Houseflies Go? Long time passing. Honestly, I don't know that song. But you know what? There's a lot of songs I've realized that I don't know that I should have known. But yeah. And no, Terry is concerned for he used to have the regular flies, and now he has the little pretty fruit flies. Oh. Well, you know what, Terry? I don't know if they've got these in England, and I don't see why they wouldn't, but who knows what they've got there. Well, I know, you're in Scotland, sorry. I don't know if they have them in Scotland. But you know those rolls that you hang from stuff of sticky tape? I think they're called fly tape. Honestly, I have fly tape over my compost bin, and it's amazing with what gets stuck to it. Fruit flies and house flies alike, but definitely fruit flies. I'm telling you, man, it's, you know, there's no toxins. It's super old school. It's way ugly. But honestly, it's the most effective thing I have ever done is do the old school hanging of the fly tape above the compost bin because they're attracted to the compost bin. There's nothing you can do. Even if you empty out your compost every meal and take the scraps outside, they still congregate in the bowl that you had the scraps in or whatever. Yeah. Fly tape. If you can get fly tape, I suggest fly. Yeah, exactly, dude. The little fruit flies they're awful. And you can't catch them with the electric swatter, Terry. They're hard to catch. No, they're impossible because, well, at least for me, unless you just hold the electric swatter still and then they randomly fly into it, in my experience, any swatting of that fly swatter actually pushes the airflow pushes that tiny fly further away from the swatter. The swatter never gets to it. It always escapes. They're so hard. So yeah, the fly tape really, because trust me, I've got electric swatters. If Sass Squash is still here listening, if he has the ability to come to the chat and say, I've given her infinity 1,000 electric fly swatters. Trust me, she has electric fly swatters. I can say, yes, that is 1,000% true. Sass Squash, who was here earlier, has given me infinity 1,000 electric fly swatters. And I use them, but not well when it comes to the fruit flies. Let's see here. Time flies like an arrow, fruit flies like a banana. Exactly. Really, Pinnell, Tareen, your cat is an excellent fruit fly catcher. That is nice. That is nice. And yes, if you eat fish, you get all sorts of flies. Anything super stinky, you know, fish, shrimp shells, wine. If you've got a, you know, leftover glass of wine or whatever. I usually don't have wine in my house, but my boss does, and so I've seen what a forgotten glass of wine left out overnight can attract. And you won't have any flies. Interesting, says eMusic. Maybe because it's been too cold up where you're at too. Because you've been getting the good 60-degree weather here. And Mama Sean, your aunt always had the fly tape in the cow barn, always. Right, I mean, to me, it is kind of logical, right? You know, I mean, you don't want poisons around your animals. You don't really want, you know, and so the fly tape is the most humane. I mean, okay, first off, it's cruel and unusual punishment for the fly. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, all right, that's true. But in regards to your mammals, your other animals, your birds, your farm creatures, it's way safer to have that fly tape around. And yeah, Shock, put a little dishwashing liquid in that wine so they get all slippery and trapped. Yeah, I don't use the wine, but I have been known to use apple cider vinegar. In fact, before I figured out the trick to just put the tape over the compost, what I used to do was get a little jar of apple cider vinegar, hang the fly tape, and then pull the fly tape down, and then stick the end of the fly tape onto that apple cider vinegar jar. And so the apple cider vinegar would attract them, but then they would land on the fly tape. Some of them would go to the vinegar, but most of them would land on the fly tape. And that that was so effective and so disgusting, but very effective. Very effective. It just, that apple cider vinegar smell attracted all that stuff right to the tape, right into the dragon's lair. Yeah. Oh, you use the white vinegar, Verity, for that? Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. And yeah, it's too bad I didn't have any fly spray on that arc. Yep. I saw a really funny meme or whatever where it was a big old fat lion who got off the there's an arc in the background, and there's this huge fat lion who was like, you know, the cruise sucked. It rained all the time, but the buffet was great. There was 2 of everything. And I just loved that little meme. And if I had it, I'd show it to you instead of describing it to you, and you'd think it was way funnier than what I just described, because it is funny. But what I just said really didn't do it justice. Not even close. All right, so you guys, we are 2 minutes past our usual Lono listening break. And this particular Lono tune is one that we've heard recently. But Kenny from the Cove, I don't know if he's here today or not, lurking or not. Terry, come on. Don't mock me with your fake laughter. But this Lono listening break is, I guess, brought to you by Kenny from the Cove. He wanted to hear Pule O'o, and or he suggested 2 songs. Pule O'o was one of them. The one that we listened to last stream was the other one. We didn't play Pule O'o last stream because we've played Pule O'o kind of recently, but I decided today, who cares? We're going to play it again. We're just going to play it again because we love that song. And so, right now, off of Old Style 4, once again, Lono with Pule O'o.
Pule O'o, O Molokai. powerful prayers. E aloha no kaimi kaua o ka hula piko ea ko amana anoha no ko ino a kako kalahumi o moloka i luna Hey, no, no. Me moloka inui ahina e ola mau e aloha wau ia oe o me hana o kuleo me moloka inui ahina e ola mau E aloha wau ia ohe Ho me hana o puleo E aloha no kaia kea Ho aloha kamehameha me Maka ahenana Anoha no koino a kako Kalahui o moloka i luna Hei no ano E moloka inui ahina E ola mau E aloha wau ia oe O me hana o puleo E moloka inui ahina E ola mau E aloha wau ia oe O me hana o puleo E aloha no makua teia O ka lau papa kanaina E ia Anoha no koino a kako Kalahui o moloka i luna E no ano E moloka inui ahina E ola mau E aloha wau ia oe O me hana o puleo E moloka inui ahina E ola mau E aloha wau ia oe O me hana o puleo E moloka inui ahina E ola mau E aloha wau ia oe O me hana o puleo E moloka inui ahina E ola mau E aloha wau ia oe O me hana o puleo O me hana o puleo Pule O'o, Molokai.
All right, gotta click all the buttons to make sure buttons are buttoned. Yeah, I'm really sorry there, Gina, if the sound mix is off. That is a softly, my version of it came through soft on the recording, or when I stole it from YouTube, it came through soft. So yeah, I don't know how to fix that. And let's see here. So Zoe just tried her first Gravy Train cereal and approves. Lady Misty, I'm gonna have to ask you, what is a Gravy Train cereal? And yeah, and is Zoe a pupperdoodle or a kitty fluffer? Who's Zoe? And Darlene, your daughter asked if you could share some of your sage from the bush that you've grown. She's at school and has a chicken coop, and she says it helps keep the bugs away in the coop. She scatters it at the edges around the coop. Interesting. I've heard you can do that with mint as well. But sage smells so good. That sounds wonderful. And okay, Lady Misty, dog food. Okay, I remember. I didn't know that they still made Gravy Train dog food. I remember when I was a little kid. Honestly, I mean, I was little, you guys. Okay, but I thought that stuff looked so good on the commercial. I totally thought that when they put the hot water on that and it made its own gravy, I wanted to eat it. I was like 4, but whatever. I wanted to try it. It looked good. It looked good. I would like to think that I'm not the only 4-year-old who thought that. But I wouldn't be surprised if I was the only 4-year-old who thought that. On the other hand, I do think that a lot of little kids do eat dog treats. Right? I mean, not on a regular basis, but they at least try them once, right? Tell me I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one because I did it with one of my friends. So at least there's 2 of us who've done it. And Andre's in the house, gifting subs to Puzzycat, gifting subs right and left. Hi, Andre. Good to see you. Right now, I guess we're talking about cat food and dog food and whether or not we've eaten. Terry in Scotland coming in with Whiskas. It's a great casserole starter. Yeah, it adds some texture, a little bit of crunch, you know? And right, exactly, Andre. Okay, you ate one on a dare once. Yeah, I refuse to believe that a lot of kids have done it, especially, as Pinnell points out, dog treats these days look tasty. Fancy cookies and ice cream. I have no doubt in my mind that some kids have just grabbed them thinking they were cookies. And, I can't even remember what I was going to say, but yeah, I absolutely, I do think that some of those dog treats do look way tastier than they should. And exactly, Darlene, nope, wouldn't be the only 4-year-old to try dog treats or their food. 4-year-olds are curious little tykes. Exactly. And DJ Smook used to eat the doggy bacon. There you go. And your sister-in-law used to taste the dog food and treats before she would give it to your dogs. Weird, but hey, you know, if you're going to give it to your family, you want to make sure it's poison control. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Dude, not only do some of the flippin' cookies look fancy, when you go to like the fancy, you know, oh, this is made with mashed banana and cinnamon and peanut butter and it's blah, 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 and it's all sugar-free, blah, blah. I have opened some of these gourmet dog biscuits and given them to my boss's dogs, and honestly, I'm in my 50s, y'all, and I'm way too old to be eating dog treats, but they smell so good that I actually, no, I didn't, but I did consider it. I considered tasting one because, as Andre pointed out, nowadays they make the dog cookies with human ingredients. Bananas, cinnamon, peanut butter. Excuse me, what? I'm sign me up. I'll eat that all day, every day. Bananas, cinnamon, and peanut butter, and you made some sort of crunchy cookie out of it? Okay. But I gave it to the dog instead, because it's for dogs. It's for dogs, not for peoples. They smell really good, some of them. Like, really good. And, olden days, the tuna fish for cat was just cheap tuna, so I bet many ate it. I remember when they told you old poor people ate dog food. Actually, there was I remember that too. In fact, there was a television episode of J.J. Walker, Dynamite. Janet Jackson was on that show. What was the show? Good Times. There was an episode on Good Times about that very topic. One of the neighbors that lived in the apartment building with them, she was an older lady on a pension, and the neighbors noticed that in her trash can was a bunch of dog food, and she didn't own a dog. And so they finally realized, oh my God, dude, she's eating dog food. And then, so they realized that, so then there's like a potluck or whatever, and she came and she brought a meatloaf, and no one would eat it, and she got really offended, and then she found out why, and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, that not only did old people used to eat dog food, there was a television show about that. And then, of course, there also was another television show which took on people eating dog and cat food in a very different way, which is Third Rock from the Sun, when the three main characters, who are aliens disguised as human beings, they didn't understand why the cans of food in the back of the store that had pictures of kitties and dogs on them were so much expensive than the other food that said it was the same thing. And so they were eating cat and dog food, not realizing it was cat and dog food. And eventually someone was like, why are you eating cat and dog food? And they realized, like, oh, people don't eat this. But it was kind of funny because they're an alien and they don't know what people eat. And Terry, maybe that's why if you scratch your belly, your leg shakes. That's funny because he used to nibble on milk bone dog biscuits. Good Lord. And Darlene, yes, the dog treat recipe I got has those ingredients you mentioned. Made treats for your grand dog. He loved them, and they smelled good when you baked them up. Exactly. Rerun and the kid Dynamite. Yes, wait. No, Pussycat. Rerun and Kid Dynamite was on What's Happening. And I remember, well, no, Rerun, okay, no, all right, no. Rerun was on What's Happening. Kid Dynamite was on Good Times. And Dwayne was on What's Happening. And I remember this because I had a crush on Dwayne. His big old afro. And he was just the youngest one in the crew. I was like 3 or 4 or 5, and I'm sure he was probably 17 in that TV show. I don't know, but I had such a crush on Dwayne. And let's see here. Shock. Gerber had a hard time in areas with high illiteracy where cans usually show the contents of the cans, not the consumer. Nobody likes to eat babies. This is where cultural sensitivity comes into play when marketing. Cultural literacy, yeah, that makes sense. And, yeah. And Andre, because FDA is now aware that a recent study confirms 8% of... No, you've got those numbers backwards. Okay, well, what Andre says, and I'm really hoping he made a mistake, but he probably didn't. Because FDA is now aware that a recent study confirms 8% of adult pet owners and 5% of children of pet owners have or will consume their pet's food. FDA must immediately end enforcement discretion allowing these dangerous ingredients in pet foods and treats. Absolutely, but oh my God, you mean more adults eat pet food than kids try pet food? That is very bizarre. Yeah, I figured you cut and pasted it, so I figured what you wrote was probably what was written, what with you not writing it and all, just pasting it. But are you picking up what I'm like? Are you with me? Like, how is it that more adults eat pet food than children? You know what? I'm not gonna judge. Maybe they're very poor or have, what? But that's still, what you cut and pasted is a very good point, because there have been some situations in dog and cat foods where meat that is literally toxic, because it's meat that is from animals that have been euthanized. You can't eat meat of an animal that's been medically killed. That poison is still in that meat, right? You just can't do that. And that has happened, and dogs have died from it. So, if people are eating that food, we need to make sure that that does not happen. And Pussycat, you used to make your dog Gravy Train omelets. I did not realize how popular Gravy Train was. I didn't think that it still existed. But I guess because it looks so delicious that you want to eat it, at least when you're 4, of course it still exists. Beatty-Bo, you're going to be honest with you. I've tried a dog treat before. Of course you have. If you had said that you'd never, I'd be like, you're lying to me right now. I think everyone has tried a dog treat at some point in their life. Even if they spit it out, and even if they didn't get all the way through chewing it or nothing, I'm sure that almost everybody here, and if you're saying that you didn't, if you're keeping quiet, then that's one thing. But if you actively say you didn't, I know you're lying. And indeed, a Gravy Train omelet is about as sweet can be. That is so flippin' cute. By the way, Pussycat, just so you know, haven't seen Leo today, but I did see him last night at about 3 o'clock in the morning. He's looking good. He's looking great. He's looking fine. So I told him you said hi. He didn't acknowledge it. He was eating. But he knows you said hi. And Darlene, precisely, the bad stuff in pet food shouldn't be in there at all, whether the pet owner eats it or not. 1000% agree, totally. But because the FDA is more concerned with human food and drugs than animals, I guess maybe they don't have the jurisdiction, or they choose not to have the jurisdiction, or perhaps they're paid very well by certain pet food companies for them to not choose that jurisdiction. We don't really know, right? But I think that was what Andre was cutting and pasting, was an argument for the FDA needs to be pursuing this, because it actually might not be meant for humans, but humans, it's getting into the human food chain. This is your jurisdiction. But you're totally right. It shouldn't be there to begin with. And let's see here, Andre, I just found a 1996 New York Times article about all the times this guy had to eat dog food in his life. It was kind of sad. Yeah. And although that reminds me, actually, Trevor Noah, he is a comedian from South Africa. You might be familiar with him. He was the host for The Daily Show after Jon Stewart left. He was the host for, 6 or 7 years, I think. Very funny guy. But he wrote an autobiography about the stuff he had to eat when he was a kid in South Africa. And sometimes he had to eat bugs. Like grasshoppers and stuff. And other times they would have to go to the butcher and get what's known as dog bones. And they would basically just be eating the dog bones. Now, the dog bones actually are just butcher bones with marrow and meat scraps on them. But that was also something that really poor people had to eat. Flash forward to, Pinnell, absolutely lots of people eat bugs. In fact, I have a friend who wants to go into a bug condiment business, but that's side note. I'll probably hopefully talk about that later, but finishing this one, flash forward to when he's famous and in New York, going to fancy, expensive restaurants. And one of his friends was just like, oh, you've got to try the marrow here. And he's like, marrow? What the, and so he's a little bit confused about what they're referring to. And as it turns out, at this fancy restaurant, you can order a dog bone. or what Trevor Noah referred to as a dog bone. And you eat the bone marrow out of it on some bread, and it's just delicious. And it got served to the table, and he looked at his friend, and he was like, how much did you pay for this? You know, it's like, you know, $75. And Trevor lost his mind. He was just like, I'm not eating this. I refuse to eat this. This is poor people food. I was forced to eat this. And so, yeah, you know, full circle, poor people food now suddenly is super expensive hoity-toity food. You can get cricket flour on Amazon, etc., etc. And like I was saying, one of my friends, he wants to go into business making hot sauces spiced with spicy insects. Because apparently when you eat, like, you know, red ants or fire ants or whatever, they're spicy. They actually have a total spice to them. Not exactly a surprise, considering them be spicy ants with spicy bite. But yeah, he wants to actually go start not just making the hot sauce, but like, because, you know, hot sauces need to have chili in them too, but he wants to oomph the chili flavor with bug extract. He thinks that it's going to be the next thing, which it might be, because bugs are making a comeback. Insects are making a rise in alternative sources of protein, you know, and places are deep frying them and seasoning them up and, you know, eating them. And quite honestly, I honestly think that if you deep fried a cricket and seasoned it properly, I would probably have no reason not to eat it. It would just be like eating a, you know, I eat the tail of the shrimp, right? So it would just like be eating the tail of a shrimp, as far as I'm concerned. A little bit crunchy, a little bit something in the middle, some flavoring on the outside. I really don't think I'd have a problem with it. And Puzzy, you are so cute with your little rice and chicken breast and carrots and spinach. Yep, there you go. My boss's dogs, she has 2 Rottweiler boxer mixes, and every day they have chicken gizzards, eggs. What is it? Chicken gizzards, eggs, carrots, and something else, ground all up together, and that's their homemade food. I mean, they also get other stuff throughout the day, but they home make their food as well. And it really sucks because I cannot tell you how many times I've been at work and I'm kind of hungry. And so I look in the fridge because I'm welcome to eat their leftovers, and I grab the Tupperware. I'm like, ooh, what's this meaty casserole? And I'll pull it out and I'm like, oh, it's the dog food. God dang it. But, you know, the dog food looks good to me. There you go. You make 6 chicken breasts every 2 weeks in his dinners, along with the other ingredients. Yeah, dude, that sounds like he's good eating for sure. And yeah, Andre, exactly. So ant fire sauce, precisely. And Andre, isn't a bug just a really small crab? Yeah, or isn't a crab just a underwater bigger insect? Because I think they are considered insects. So, you know, right? And Terry in Scotland, yes, someone did tell Homer Simpson that, but Homer Simpson is fine with what hot dogs contain. Absolutely. And Andre, you know, you're being mighty judgmental, and I'm gonna have to hop on that judgment train right with ya. Man, I will eat insects way before cloned meat. Yeah, me too. I really know that is a judgmental way to look at things, but I just cannot fathom eating cloned meat. I can't. I will eat insects before I eat an Impossible Burger or cloned meat. It just is. And Pinnell, very good point, actually. Very good point. Cat food, homemade cat food is a different animal than homemade dog food. Okay. Duh. Cats are different animals than dogs. That's not really what I meant to say, I guess. making cat food homemade is a whole different responsibility than making homemade dog food. Making homemade dog food, you have a lot of elbow room for this, that, and the other thing. Cats are obligate carnivores. You have to, what you can put in that homemade cat food is much, much more limited than what you can put in your dog's food. And consequently, unless you do it right, you're going to have to add a lot of vitamins and minerals, and you need to make sure they get the taurine. Absolutely. Yeah, you're totally right. Cat food, homemade cat food is very hard to make. And I'm sure you guys know this, but don't feed your cats plain tuna. That's bad for them. I mean, on occasion, as a little treat, okay. But not as a meal. No, it's not. It's bad for them for ways I cannot remember. Something to do with vitamin E and vitamin K, I think. Don't quote me on that, but what I can tell you is don't treat tuna like it's a cat meal. Just maybe a little treat. Because, yeah, it's not. And, yeah, taurine is in energy drinks. I think taurine has something to do with your eyesight, but I might also be making that up because I do that a lot. And yeah, exactly, Verity. Fishermen call lobster bugs. Totally. Sea bugs. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, dude. I don't want to admit it, and I don't like to admit it, and it makes me angry to admit it. But the East Coast has better sea bugs than the West Coast. And I only mean lobsters. Dungeness crab are better than the crab they have over there. But their lobsters are better than our lobsters in the West Coast. West Coast lobsters suck. East Coast lobsters are better. And I don't want to tell anybody that East Coast anything is better. But their lobsters are. Oh, it does have something to do with eyeballs. I didn't make it up. Panel confirms. Taurine has something to do with eyeballs. Well, she says is eyeballs. But yeah, there we go. Lady Misty, oh no, you're East Coast and allergic to shellfish? Well, I don't know what to tell you. I guess that's one more East Coast lobster for me? Yeah, that's what I'll tell you. No, I'm sorry that you're allergic. That really does suck because shellfish sneaks its way into a lot of things. And so I hope that you, hope the allergy is mild. And I'm sorry that you can't eat the lobsters because the lobsters are so tasty, so tasty, so tasty. And yeah, exactly, Andre. The claws make that East Coast lobster so much better. But it's not just... Okay, first off, the claws do make it better. But it's also the texture and the flavor of the meat. The flavor and the texture are just a little bit different. The West Coast lobster is a little mushier, whereas the East Coast is a little firmer. Please don't quote me on this because I don't want to ever have anyone hear me say it, which is why I'm saying it on the internet right now for everyone to see, but the East Coast is better that way. Just a little bit better that way. Don't tell anybody I said that. And, oh, right, there you go, Lady Misty. You found out while eating an egg roll when you were younger about the allergy. Right, there you have it, dude. Shellfish is randomly everywhere for some reason. Ooh, and also I think, aren't there some vaccines that have shellfish issues? Dude, oh, yeah, that sucks. And is it the colder waters? Well, first off, it's a different variety entirely. And as much as Puzzycat says Florida lobsters are the best, I will say, okay, you can have them all, baby doll, because I want the Maine lobsters. I want the Maine lobsters that are in the cold water, because yes, the Maine lobsters love cold water, and they are only found in super cold water. We've got cold water in the Pacific, so I don't know why we don't have them, but we don't. That ocean creature never quite made it to this side of the country in its East Coast state. And let's see here, Terry in Scotland coming in with facts. Taurine is particularly destroyed by heat in processes such as baking and boiling. There's a concern for cat food as cats have a dietary requirement for taurine and can easily become deficient. Either raw feeding or addition of extra taurine can satisfy this requirement. There you go. And Puzzycat, they just had lobster season a few weeks ago, so did you get some lobsters? did you get some lobsters? And your grandma ate fried clam balls often. I don't know what those are, but I'm going to assume they're like little fritters. And I don't know what the clam balls are, but I'm going to assume that they are like fritters, and therefore I'm going to assume they're very tasty. And you just gave me an idea because I have some frozen clams in my freezer, because that's where frozen clams should generally be kept, in the freezer. Sorry for that redundancy. That was a memo from the Department of Redundancy Department. Anyway, so my frozen clams are in the frozen freezer, and I've been wondering what to do with them. Fritters. I'm gonna go make some clam balls. And, oh, you have to go to the Keys for lobster season. Got it. And lobster cheese spread on toast. Yum. I don't really know what lobster cheese spread is, but I can say without a doubt that I like lobster, I like cheese, I like toast. So I will eat lobster and cheese and toast. That sounds delicious. And Terry and Scotland, so they only come from male crabs, right? Well, I see what you're going for there, but here's the deal. At least in Washington waters and on the West Coast. Oh, okay, the clams, the male clams. Yeah, they must, I guess. But when it comes to crabs, you're only allowed to harvest the boys. You can't harvest the girls. At least on the West Coast, that is. For Dungeness, that is. I guess that's the only crab I've ever gone crabbing for. But Dungeness crabs, you're not allowed to harvest the females. You're only allowed to harvest the males. So if you're gonna make crab balls, that's okay because all of the crabs are boys. You can do that. And it's a good thing you dislike seafood because this show is not making you hungry at all. Yeah, isn't it funny how we always just accidentally fall back onto the food topic? Soft cheese with lobster mixed in. That sounds tasty to me. Crab or lobster with Swiss cheese on sourdough also sounds tasty to me. And Andre, yeah, I know that you couldn't take the female lobsters in Maine as well. I forgot about that, but I did know that, yeah. And I think, if I remember correctly, female lobsters, when you do get them, you have to notch their tail and then throw them back. And so that way, it's easier for the next lobsterman who accidentally catches them to just like see, oh, this one's already been checked, this one's already chick, right back into the water. And also they'll be able to check real quick and easy whether or not you are harvesting something you're not supposed to be harvesting. And let's see here. Pollock you find to be skunky, says Lady Misty. Honestly, I don't know if I've ever had pollock. I'm sure I have, because a lot of restaurants serve or label their cod. They say they've got cod, but it's actually pollock. And so my best guess is I've had pollock, but I thought I was eating cod. But I don't really know, because I'm not their fishmonger or their fish purchaser. And so, yeah. And let's see here. Absolutely do not like fish, says Shock. Never have. Didn't grow up with fish except for fish sticks. Yeah, fish sticks definitely are not not the best way to serve fish. And Terry in Scotland, you recently found out the scampi that's so popular over here is immature lobster. Well, actually, Terry, not only is it immature lobster, or it's a different kind of lobster. I think it's a langostino, I think, or something like that. Either way, dude, that's what a scampi is. So, like, if we say shrimp scampi over here, what we're kind of saying is shrimp. It's it doesn't really make sense. And when you're supposed to make shrimp scampi, you're not supposed to use shrimp. You're supposed to use scampi. And scampi is the lobster thing that you're talking about. That's actually that's where it, like in Italy, that's scampi. It's prepared with the garlic and the butter and the lemon, and so yeah, that's actually it's made the right way, I guess. And scampi is just large shrimp. It's not a shrimp at all, actually, Mama Sean. It's a different. I mean, they're in the same whatever, but it's not a shrimp. It's a lobster tino, a lobster teeny. It's a lot there. Actually, one of the streams that I had a couple years ago, we talked about this, and I honestly don't remember what the difference was. I was gobsmacked to learn that shrimp scampi technically isn't shrimp isn't shrimp. Yeah, it's Langostino lobster. And so it's a type of lobsterette. That's what it is. It's called a lobsterette. And it's technically a little bit different than a shrimp. So, which I didn't know. I didn't realize that scampi was a thing. And so let's see here. Verity Hunt, when we first moved to SoCal, the difference in flavor of warm water fish took getting used to. Cold water fish is brighter. Yeah, I totally understand what that I don't know if I'd say brighter, but I totally get what you're saying. Abso-flippin-lutely. Absolutely. And let's see here. You can get fresh shrimp at the inlet where the boats are. Yeah, I'm not surprised, Puzzy Cat. Florida shrimp are definitely very popular and very tasty. And so, yeah, there you go. And Andre, in Maine, a maximum size law also exists. We're talking about lobsters, y'all. When we're talking about size, right now we're talking about lobsters. And let's see here. Any lobster with a greater than 5-inch carapace must be returned to the sea. This law exists to protect the breeders. Larger lobsters are capable of reproducing greater and healthier numbers of offspring, and Maine lobster harvesters feel very strongly about protecting this brood stock. Buried females, that is, those carrying eggs, must be returned to the sea after the tail has been marked with a V-notch in the right flipper next to the middle flipper. Exactly. The Maine lobstermen are very, very cognizant of the idea of overfishing and just what overfishing can do to industries and communities. Kind of wish other aquaculture and fishing endeavors had the same mindset as the Maine fishermen, the Maine lobstermen. It seems like not every industry does that to the extent that Maine lobster men and women do the protections. It sort of seems like they have to be, and by they I mean the fishing companies, the crabbing companies, the fishing companies, they kind of have to be forced into conservation. They have to be forced to, like, don't take triple and quadruple servings. You need to have some for next year. And let's see here. Yes, exactly, Pinnell. Indigenous in Canada East are also very careful, of course. Precisely. Yeah. It's the commercial, it's the colonizer commercialized fishing vessels that I'm referring to on the West Coast, at least, that seem to need to be forced to remember, don't take it all. There needs to be some for next year and the year after that. But I'm not going to get on a soapbox, and you know why? Because we've only got 3 minutes left, and no one wants to go on a 3-minute rant. Okay, that's not true. You've seen me go on a 10-minute rant before, but anyway. We're not going to do it this time. Terry coming in. Commercial bluefin tuna must be at least 73 inches long. That's a big fish. And, Huzzy, you can't catch red snapper only for 2 days of the season. I really feel like you meant to say you can only catch red snapper for 2 days out of the season. But yeah, that is true. Just like here, I hear you, Puzzy Cat. We got that 2-minute warning. Out here, it's a lot like that with clam season. It's just like between the hours of 9 a.m. and noon 30 on these 4 beaches, you can dig tomorrow and the next day, but not later. And maybe in a couple months we'll let you dig in for 2 days again. But you know, the seasons are very limited and sporadic, and you kind of have to like be tuned into the network to find out when you're going to be able to go dig for clams. Because it's the season might run from September through May, but that doesn't mean you can go out digging every September through May. What it means is on September through May, you need to listen for the days and locations you're allowed to go digging. And yeah, totally. Shock. They detect the DNA on fishing, on testing fish in restaurants to detect fraud, and they've done that too in grocery stores. And I think we remember that Subway had that done on their tuna fish, and they didn't really know what it was, but they knew it wasn't tuna. Which kind of bummed me out, because I actually used to eat tuna fish when I went to Subway. I don't go to Subway anymore, but when I used to, that was one of my go-tos, until it was that, and then I was like, I don't really know how to do that. So yeah, yeah. And yeah, the shellfish can kill you if you take them at the wrong time. That is true. That is definitely true. Crabbing or clamming. All right, you guys, 1 minute left, so let's wrap this up. Of course, we talked about food today because we always talk about food at least at some point. I was going to talk about sandwiches because I had a really good sandwich yesterday, and a sandwich was on my mind all day today. But we managed to not really talk about sandwiches. Instead, we talked about seafood. And that works. Perhaps next time we can talk about seafood sandwiches. All right, so Andre, thank you so much for those biddies. Thank you so much for those gift subs. Thank you so much for resubbing, gift subbing, and stream streak watching. I want to thank everybody here for chitter chattering and keeping the show live and going, topics flowing. Thanking the mods, because I actually saw that there was some work that was done today. It was done so quick, though. I don't even know who did it, and I don't even know how many times it had to be done. But see you, lobster. That's right. See you later, crew. Thank you so much for hanging out. We'll see each other tomorrow, 6 p.m. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Thursday, 6 p.m. West Coast time, 3 p.m. Hawaii time. We're going to watch 2 episodes of Reservoir Dogs. Twitch only, though. Twitch only. Hey, Thomas the Turtle. Good to see you. You say hello. I say goodbye. All right, then.